A fierce battle raged as Queen Yu attacked everyone. The sheer number of opponents overwhelmed them, and the iron bone skeletons proved no match. Someone lamented that killing the undead was useless. The key was to capture the leader or defeat the army. Straight for the death swordsman, shouting, asking why he was still alive. The swordsman replied that not only was he alive, but he was also one step away from reaching the Azura position. Queen Yu was surprised by this revelation. Just as Queen Yu was looking, he saw Lu Chen disappear into the ground, using a ground dive skill. While Queen Yu was distracted, Lu Chen reappeared from beneath him and delivered a critical hit. Queen Yu cried out in pain. Lu Chen then summoned another bone goose, whose damage was quite high. Queen Yu realized that Lu Chen was also a death swordsman, having summoned the undead. He thought that a single death swordsman couldn't evolve into an Azura unless they absorbed the soul fire of other death swordsmen, but death swordsmen were too rare. He now understood that Lu Chen was truly scheming. Lu Chen retorted, asking what was wrong with being a death swordsman, questioning if he had eaten Queen Yu's rice or something. Lu Chen then asked Queen Yu where he was from. Queen Yu called him a fool, stating that Lu Chen still didn't understand. He began to explain that Lu Chen's precious master wanted him, but just as he spoke, an attack struck. It was a critical blow to Queen Yu's neck, causing him to cough blood and fall to his knees. The swordsman urged Lu Chen to finish him off. Lu Chen complied, and as a result, reached level 23. Lu Chen exclaimed about the massive rewards, having leveled up 3 times in one go and acquiring 2 pieces of bronze gear, just 2 levels away from equipping them. He absorbed the soul fire of other dead souls. He tried to offer some to his master, but the swordsman interrupted him, stating that he was already old and didn't need it, urging him to absorb it quickly before the soul fire disappeared. Lu Chen thanked his master. He then pondered that despite absorbing so many soul fires, he was still a skeleton and hadn't evolved into an undead. The swordsman explained that this was the sorrow of a death swordsman. Lu Chen thought about this sorrow. The swordsman explained that death swordsmen were a very special type of fighter, possessing part of Azura's power, and that they were cursed for it. He clarified that the evolution path of a death swordsman had no intermediate stages. There was only the starting point as a death swordsman and the final destination as an Azura. Lu Chen questioned this, asking if there was only the final destination, and what about the evolution path he had been told about before. The swordsman admitted he had been afraid Lu Chen would lose hope, describing the path as too difficult, with no clear length or direction, only a distant and vague endpoint. He confessed that he had already given up on it but hoped Lu Chen could achieve it. Lu Chen, undeterred, stated that this only made it more challenging. The swordsman praised him, confirming that he had not chosen the wrong person. Lu Chen thought about something. The scene then shifted back to Orion. The guild members in front of him told him to stop acting tough and allow them to finish him off for good. Orion retorted, stating that with just them, if it weren't for that annoying archer, they would already be dead. The person in front of Orion, calling him a stubborn fool, launched a flame thrust attack. However, the scene shifted back to Lu Chen in a wild forest. He reflected that he had finally made it into the top 10, even surprising the grinding maniac Orion. He was at the 7th position. He thought about their agreement to meet that midnight, yet Orion still wasn't there, which felt wrong. He recalled a past conversation where he had asked Orion what price he was willing to pay, and Orion had responded, "Everything I have, even my life, if you wish." Lu Chen, considering Orion's previous commitment, found it impossible that he would miss their first official sparring session. He noted that Orion wasn't even replying to his messages and had been online for a long time but hadn't gained a single level. Something was definitely wrong. Checking the World Channel, Lu Chen discovered that the Konglong Guild was ambushing Orion, who was near death. The assassin remarked on Orion's resilience as a top 10 expert, noting that even with his armor shattered, he was still holding on. He offered Orion a chance to join the Konglong Guild and let the past go. Orion defiantly told him to go to hell. The assassin then attacked him, saying Orion had asked for this. Another person charging towards Orion shouted for him to die. But as soon as he reached near Orion, an attack struck, and the energy was so massive that they were unable to stand, struggling to remain upright. They collectively questioned who was there. It was Lu Chen, who declared that no one dared to touch his comrade. The assassin confronted Lu Chen, claiming that he had come just in time and that he would send both Lu Chen and Orion to hell together. Lu Chen, confident in his plan, retorted that he hadn't come alone and intended to showcase the special skill of his swordsman. With another skill, he swiftly tossed red potions to Orion. Orion was astonished, thinking such a move existed. To distract their pursuers, Lu Chen shouted, "Grand summoning, skyborn dragon." Everyone looked up, perplexed. Lu Chen and Orion, using this diversion, quickly escaped. The assassin, realizing they had been tricked, ordered his comrades to chase them. As they fled, blasts erupted behind them. Orion warned Lu Chen that they would be worn out if this continued and that they were dead either way, suggesting they fight back. Lu Chen urged Orion to trust him and simply follow. They quickly lay down. The assassin, seeing this, commanded his forces to keep attacking, blast them to death. Lu Chen wondered if these guys had unlimited mana, as they were spamming skills like it's free. The audience groaned in frustration. Just then, Lu Chen grabbed Orion's hand and instructed him to run towards the undead patrol camp. The assassin, believing he had them cornered, declared that they had nowhere to run and commanded them to prepare to die. Lu Chen, however, retorted that it was the assassin who had nowhere to run, and the undead patrol emerged from the camp. The assassin immediately realized it was a trap. Captain Fak appeared, commending Lu Chen for informing them in advance to use the ground dive skill to hide. He expressed his surprise that humans had dared to ambush their camp. Orion, realizing the depth of Lu Chen's planning, thought, "Damn, was this all on Undying's plan?" The assassin, infuriated, cursed Lu Chen as a crazy, cunning bastard, and admitted he had underestimated him and people like him. Lu Chen warned Orion not to listen to the assassin's nonsense, as he was merely trying to recover his mana. He then commanded his brothers to attack. The assassin was utterly frustrated. Lu Chen instructed Orion to deal with the high-level enemies, while Captain Fak, the shield warriors, and ranged classes would handle the undead patrol. Lu Chen then addressed the assassin, stating that the situation was now reversed. The undead army charged at the humans, screaming for them to be killed. The humans begged for mercy and help. Time, meanwhile, was fighting the same spearman he had fought earlier. He mocked the spearman, saying he was useless without his archers and mages supporting him. The spearman was in no condition to fight and was clearly weaker than Orion. Orion taunted him further, reminding him that he had told him he would kill him in minutes in a one-on-one fight. Just then, an assassin appeared behind Orion, protecting him, and threw something to him, instructing him to catch it and remember to heal up. Orion thanked him, realizing the power of team battles. But just as the person said, "Good opportunity," and was about to attack Lu Chen took him down without even looking, stating that he had overestimated himself. Captain Fak urged his brothers to kill the humans. Just then, he was instantly killed by a light ranger, Wind Fantasy. Lu Chen was stunned, realizing it was an instant one-shot kill and that the Konglong Guild actually had such a powerful player. The spearman then told Wind Fantasy that she had finally agreed to join Konglong and boasted to Orion that he was dead now. Orion, however, retorted that even with her help, the spearman was still going to die. The spearman pleaded with Wind Fantasy to save him. Orion mocked the spearman, asking if he couldn't fight without backup. But Wind Fantasy swiftly chopped off the spearman's head, leaving Orion perplexed, as he thought they were on the same side. However, Wind Fantasy then attacked Orion too, and he was about to die. Just then, Lu Chen, seeing this, cursed, asking what Wind Fantasy was doing. He activated Execution Blade. But as soon as he reached near the girl, she stabbed her sword straight into his neck. Lu Chen and Orion lay dead, their communication open. Orion expressed his frustration, saying that this woman is too officially at the field by herself in such a short time. Lu Chen replied that she had simply taken advantage of everyone's low HP and mana, and probably forgot to activate her bounty, intending to camp their corpses. Lu Chen noted that they were close to the Night Spirit faction, so they would respawn faster. He proposed that he would count to 3, and they would revive together to take her down, then retreat. Orion agreed, stating they couldn't let her enjoy the prize money so easily. They counted to 3, and Lu Chen shouted, "Respawn." Just as the girl was recording the corpses, Lu Chen and Orion attacked her from behind. She parried the attack, stopping them both. They both expressed their surprise at her presence. Orion commended Lu Chen's well-executed attack, which inflicted massive damage on her. She angrily declared them seeking death and retaliated, damaging part of Lu Chen's jaw. Lu Chen thought that was a close call. Suddenly, Orion stabbed her with a spear, stating, "Take this." The girl, enraged, questioned how a piece of trash dared to act so arrogantly and stabbed her sword into his chest. But just then, Lu Chen performed a death slash on her, killing her. Orion, stunned, asked if she wasn't rank number 1, yet she still got killed. He vowed to camp her corpse all night to see how she truly was, emphasizing his point by kicking her. Lu Chen urged Orion to retreat immediately, explaining that without the undead patrol camp, they would be in trouble when Konglong Guild members respawned, as their respawn countdown was a full day. They ran out of the area. Lu Chen then declared they would focus on grinding for experience and leveling up on the outskirts of Frost Ridge. Lu Chen noticed Xingran's unusual silence and asked her what was wrong. She replied that there was an injured old man nearby and asked if he could help him. Lu Chen, thinking about an injured old man, agreed to check on him, telling her not to be sad. Xingran expressed her belief that Lu Chen was a good person. Lu Chen, noticing no quest notification, decided to investigate anyway. Lu Chen approached the old man, who was loudly moaning about dying and cursing wild bears. Lu Chen, observing his loud voice, thought that he wouldn't die anytime soon. He asked the old man if he was all right. The old man, shocked, exclaimed that Lu Chen was a night spirit and urged him not to come near him. Lu Chen mentally cursed, realizing he had forgotten to wear his mask. He pondered whether the old man would still give him a quest if he found out he was a night spirit, concluding he couldn't let this quest slip away. He then began to sob to the old man, claiming he didn't understand. He fabricated a story about being a human warrior who was bitten by a night spirit while working outside and turned into one, but he maintained that he had always followed his principles and would rather eat grass than harm humans. He then demonstrated by eating grass in front of the old man. The old man, moved by his apparent kindness, remarked that whether one was a night spirit or a human, having a good heart made them a good person. Lu Chen readily agreed, then asked why the old man was injured. The old man explained that he was the only hunter in the village and had come to hunt for food, but the place was filled with rampaging wild bears. He had been surrounded for 3 days and would have been dead if Lu Chen hadn't arrived. Lu Chen reassured him not to worry and offered to help him get out of the forest. The old man agreed, saying he was fine and that if Lu Chen helped him, he would teach him hunting and cooking, 2 skills he was best known for. Lu Chen eagerly accepted, thinking that people dreamed of getting 1 secondary profession, and here he was getting 2 for free. After that, Lu Chen noted his increased power at level 25, with a new weapon and cloak. He realized he was too overpowered, and his bounty had also increased. Just then, Sishun called, asking what Lu Chen had done again, as his bounty had just hit 80,000. Lu Chen exclaimed about the 80,000 bounty and jokingly wished he could kill himself to claim the reward. Sishun immediately said Lu Chen couldn't kill himself, but he could do it for him. Lu Chen acknowledged the good point and urged Sishun to quickly reach level 25 so they could split the bounty. Sishun complained that leveling up required resources and asked Lu Chen to support his little bro with some cash. Lu Chen questioned where the 15 silver coins he had just given him had gone, as they should not have been spent so quickly. Sishun explained that Lu Chen didn't understand the prices in Frost Ice City, stating that 1 apple jam that restored 100 MP cost 4 silver points, and after buying equipment and 2 gems, he was broke. He reiterated that 4 silver points for that stuff was expensive. The scene shifted to the Konglong Guild headquarters. A girl angrily complained that a battle squad from Konglong had been wiped out twice by the same guy, calling it a disgrace. The spearman urged the boss to calm down, stating that he had already increased the bounty, and with enough reward money, bounty hunters would eventually wear Lu Chen down. The boss agreed, letting the bounty stand. He instructed them to inform the bounty hunters that their true enemies were the Dominator Guild, Shadow Hall, and Ancient Sword Dream Soul, emphasizing that there was no need to waste too much effort on Lu Chen. The assassin asked about Wind Fantasy, noting that she had been getting more aggressive lately and that they hadn't placed a bounty on her as per the boss's daughter's instructions. The boss again told them to let her be for now, as he had his own plans for her. In Frost Ice City's Frost Plaza, someone shouted about rare magic stones for sale. One person asked the seller for the price of an item. Lu Chen, now a merchant, loudly advertised his apple jam, selling it for 20 coins per jar, also offering high-quality bear pelts. He thought about his hunting sales and how he could gather apples directly, saving material costs, making 2 silver per jar of steel. He questioned how 4 silver jams could compete with him. Everyone in the crowd started negotiating, some offering 5, some 3, some 10. Lu Chen told them not to push all at once. He heard he had already made 400 silver coins, recognizing it as easy money. Just then, someone inquired about a nice-looking bear pelt, asking its price. Lu Chen praised the buyer's discernment, stating that it was a level 2 material. The person in front was a level 25 ranger, the leader of the Dominator Guild. Lu Chen offered it for only 2 silver points per piece. Lu Chen thought about how the leader of the Dominator Guild was loaded and decided it was time to rip him off. He then explained that with a good tailor, 1 bear pelt could make 2 or 3 high-quality leather armors. The leader agreed, noting that it was indeed from a level 28 forest bear and very rare. He declared that he would take them all. Lu Chen thanked him, calling him generous, and internally thought about how easy money was with rich and foolish people. However, the leader then revealed his awareness of Lu Chen's identity, stating that walking around with an 80,000 bounty and still acting so boldly was, as expected of you, undying.